Oh, there we go. I just want to say a few kind words to you and tell you that we have prepared for you. We have one of the most professional fire departments within this valley. The last chief and the interim chief and the chief Lytle before him have all prepared these men for the most trying situations. They're ready to go. They can jump in the turnouts and go to work. So anything that you add to this would be a great benefit, but we're giving you a very well-trained and hardworking fire department with a lot of leadership in it, and we hope that together, you guys in the back with the chief will rise us to the next level in this community so that we can once again dominate. We went through a tough recession, but we are loading up with some brilliant young men and women in the department now, and they're looking to find a chief that they can partner with and help the community. So good luck with this wonderful, talented group of men. Thank you very much.
Chief Calhoun, I just like to say, welcome to the city of North Las Vegas, the finest city in the state of Nevada. I must add, we are very excited that you're here, and you, like the mayor said, you've got a great group of people behind you, supporting you, working with you, working for you. So good luck. We wish you well and welcome aboard.
Chief Calhoun, I wanted to pick off of one word that Dr. Liu mentioned, and that's collaboration. We have a wonderful team. You can tap into their knowledge, their skill set. You know, they'll help your learning curve rapidly because of the knowledge that we have here. And if it's a collaborative relationship, I think we have a winning combination. So I'm looking forward to working with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, Chief, as a resident here in North Vegas and of course, as a city councilman, it's been my honor to actually witness firsthand the importance and, seeing the steady rock that we have as our first responders, our firemen. I know I can always count on them. I've actually seen them literally never give up on our residents, in trying to save their lives. Um, I have, if you're the guy that we picked, I'm sure you're going to fit in fine. I welcome you to our family. You're now part of our extended family, and I look to I look to having great conversations with my new brother here.
There's really not much I could add to what the mayor said and my colleagues over here, except to welcome you also to North Las Vegas. We have an amazing team over here, both with our fire department and our staff here. And I want to not only welcome yourself, but your lovely wife and daughters over here, being part of the family now. Thank you so much.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess so the chief can take a couple pictures with his family. I would caution you one thing. We're not giving you guys any more money. We bought you 4 trucks, fixed all your fire stations. They've done a good job of preparing for your entry here. So anyway, we love you and appreciate the fire department. Can we take a 5-minute recess right now and take a couple pictures with the family? And Jeff, if you and fire guys would like to take a picture, we'd like to do that, okay? Thank you very much. reconvene this meeting. Moving on to council items, Councilman Barone.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I really appreciate that. Of course, I always thank you for all the time. First things first, pretty soon, it's September, coming up very soon. Of course, we have a wonderful thing going on over at Craig Ranch Park. I'm not going to steal any thunder there, but I wanted to say that coming up, we have the Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on September 6th and 7th at North Las Vegas City Hall. And the festivities will include mariachi, acevedo, and exhibits. Before I also go further, I want to personally thank our good new friend here, Mr. Scott Black, for continuing. I don't know if you know this, but we had a backpack giveaway last year, and unwittingly he has continued this new tradition. And I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart for providing for he and his partner. I'm sure he'll talk about him a little later. For providing the backpacks here for the children of North Las Vegas. Thank you very much, Councilman. One other thing, a little bit more somber. For me, I've never been more proud to wear this tie. And the reason why I chose to wear my tie here is because, of course, for some things that have happened on the other coast. Before I go any further, I wanted to honor and just mention we have the police chief in the back and of course one of our distinguished captains, and I wanted to express my condolences for your brother troopers who died in the line of service this past week, Lieutenant Jay Cullen and Trooper Burke Bates, who they were the troopers who were in the helicopter that went down. I also wanted to mention a young woman who was laid to rest today, Ms. Heather Hare. And this city, of course, is very special to me as my home. This is the city in Nevada that is, I think, the most diverse culturally. We are the majority city. And I know a lot about my colleagues. The mayor, who I'm very honored to say he's an Eagle Scout. And that represents something very special, I think, to our society. There are certain beliefs that we have. My colleague, the Mayor Pro Tem, who was a longtime public servant, my co-educator, and of course a businessman in our community. We all believe in certain things as Americans. We believe in fair play. We believe in rights for everybody. We believe in in human rights. So at this point, I would like to say that I can't do anything other than to unequivocally condemn the racial hatred that has been expressed in Charlottesville. And I would like to ask that my colleagues here on the council also stand with the city of Charlottesville and their mayor and their council as they bravely move ahead, trying to bring, I think, rights to everybody in their community as we are here in our city as well. Again, thank you very much, Mayor, for indulging me in this time. I really appreciate it, and we'll move on.
Thank you, Councilman Churchill.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Barone. I agree with what you just said. To my item over here, I also had the opportunity to participate with a backpack program, Back to School Children at our Skyview generational facility that's being run right now by the YMCA off of Centennial. We had about 75 to 80 children there, and it was an amazing event. My wife was there helping filling the backpacks for everybody, and Assemblyman Thompson kind of originated it, and we're kind of participating now with that. And I want to especially thank the staff at the YMCA, Mr. Lube and Charles there for helping to put that on. They really do an amazing job up there. Again, Armed Forces and Military Veterans Appreciation is coming up on September 9th. It begins at 11 o'clock at our beautiful Craig Ranch Regional Park. It's an event that we have every year to honor our veterans as well as our first responders, which is why we moved it to the second weekend in September. I placed some cards outside on the shelf as you come in the door, and there's some out by the security officers. This year is going to be extra special. Not that every year isn't special because of that, but it's the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. And there's going to be a special presentation by Vegas PBS honoring all of those who passed away. We have close to 150 residents here in Nevada that served in Vietnam and lost their lives. And that's going to add something. There's a book coming out as well as a 8-part documentary that'll be aired sometime around September 17th. So please look out for that. And the event is open to all of our veterans, their families, first responders, their families. And the public is more than welcome to attend. We'll have vendors out there, and we're going to have some classic military vehicles that'll be being brought in by some people from the Vietnam era. Last but not least, I was shadowed this week, yesterday and today, by a very nice young lady from Mojave High School, senior, Miss Chanel Ocular. Unfortunately, her mother, she had to go home. Her mother wasn't feeling well, or she would have been sitting up here next to me. She is pursuing a degree in political science at UNLV, and it was amazing to have such an intelligent, smart lady in my meetings with me, and actually asking some very, very good questions. So at some points in time over there, I thought I should have been shadowing her. So, but it was very interesting, and I appreciated her taking the time on her own. This was her own initiative to get involved with our municipality and civil service. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilwoman Goins Brown.
Thank you, Councilman Barone, for mentioning Charlottesville. As I received a call just before we came downstairs from Pastor Williamson of the famed church, the First African Methodist Episcopal Church. That church is going to partner with the Jewish faith community on Sunday, this coming Sunday from 4 to 5:30. They're going to have a candlelight vigil. And so the pastor asked me just to mention it and reach out and see if any of my colleagues can attend, and just to have the community there at large. And again, the address is 2446 Revere Street, and it's from 4 to 5:30 on this Sunday. I'd also like to mention another event that is near and dear to my heart, and it's called, can you see this? It's called Pig for the Kids. It's a barbecue competition, hence the name Pigs for the Kids. And it's going to be on September 23rd at our Craig Ranch Regional Park from noon to 9 p.m. There'll be live music, the competition. There'll be activities there for the kids. There's also a beer garden in the VIP area, and advance tickets should go on sale pretty soon, and they're just $10. And at the day of the event, they're $15. So if you would please come out, I would urge you to attend, because all of the funds raised from this event go to 3 cancer charities here locally: the Candlelighters, the Children's Specialty Center of Nevada, and the Nevada Childhood Cancer Foundation. And having 2 family members who are both cancer survivors, my mom being one of them in the audience, and I have a cousin who's a cancer survivor as well. And I know, Mayor, you are a cancer survivor too. So it's real, and this is a great organization, and they do great things for the community. And I am extremely proud to present a certificate to a young man who has shadowed me the last couple of days. His name is Rocky Gupta, and he is a student at UNLV, and we've been joking with him the last couple of days because everyone I introduce him to say, "So what grade are you in?" And he looks all about, I'd say 15, 16 years old. He's actually a junior in college at UNLV, pursuing his bachelor's in criminal justice. And so I hope that I have been an inspiration to him, because you have certainly been an inspiration to me over the short time that I've met you and you just chatted with you. He's given me some great suggestions on how we should run our city more efficiently, and so I have listened. I just want you to know that. So I appreciate you coming out and spending some time with me, and like I said, you are welcome to come and visit anytime. Okay, here you go. I told him he will appreciate that compliment in maybe another 20 or 30 years. They'll say, "How old are you?" So you'll just take that with stride. Okay.
Councilman Black.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Monday, on the first day of school, on the 14th, I had the distinct privilege of partnering with a local motorcycle Harley Davidson enthusiast club called Second to None. Their president, his name is Rodney Boogie Williams, a friend of mine, brought out almost a dozen beautiful motorcycles and 450 backpacks. We had a line of kids and parents half hour before the event. The weather was perfect. We had a light breeze. The grass is beautiful and green on the front of the City Hall, and it was really an awesome experience to interact with the school kids, to talk about their first day of school, and most importantly, give them a backpack full of supplies that will give them the tools to have a successful school year. So it was a privilege for me to do that, and thanks to Second to None Motorcycle Club, the Soul Brothers, and the West Coast Divas. Those are the clubs that were there. Thank you.
Ah, that sounds like fun. Well, thank you very much, Councilor, for being so involved in your districts there. Now is the time set aside for public comment. This is your first public forum set aside on the agenda for items that are on the agenda. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak to the City Council on an agenda item at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Moving on to the agenda.
Item 1, approve City Council regular meeting agenda of August 16, 2017 for possible action.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have a few changes to tonight's agenda. Staff recommends that items number 27, 29, 30, and 31 be continued to September 20th council meeting. With those changes, the recommendation is for approval as amended.
Thank you very much. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion to amend the agenda.
Move to approve as amended.
We have a motion. Items approved. Moving on to set future hearing dates. Madam City Clerk.
Item 2, set date on any appeals filed or required public hearings from the City Planning Commission meetings.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. I so just direct you to set any dates that is necessary. Moving on to the public hearing.
Item 3, approve AMP 0717 Valley and Centennial for applicant KB Home, property owner 215 Properties LLC, for an amendment to the comprehensive plan to change the land use from neighborhood commercial to single-family low property located at the southwest corner of Centennial Parkway and Valley Drive. Associate item number 4, ordinance number 2823 for possible action.
Your Honor, members of the council, for the record, Chris Thompson, address is 4325 Suite 300. Did I get it? I got it. All right. Sorry about that. Again, Chris Thompson, address is 4325 Dean Martin Drive, Suite 300. Here this evening representing the applicant, KB Home. If I could get the overhead, I'd like to start off by orienting you to the site and the general area. Wonderful. The subject site is located at the southwest corner of Centennial and Valley, contains 3.3 acres, currently has a neighborhood commercial land use. This request is to amend that to residential low. Goal is to facilitate zone change in support of a 16-lot or 17-lot, single-family residential subdivision. As you can tell from the overhead, the area is dominated by residential development. This request will keep in line with the goals and policies of the land use master plan and bring this parcel into conformance with adjacent uses. So with that, I'll make myself available for any questions.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions at this time? Seeing none, we'll open this to public comment. Would anybody like to come up front and address the City Council? Jeff, are you coming up for this item? No. Seeing no one coming forth, we'll close the public comment period. Council, what's your direction on this?
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 4, pass and adopt ordinance number 2823, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 3.36 acres therein from a C1 neighborhood commercial district to a PUD, planned unit development district, consisting of 18 single-family lots, ZN 2117, Valley and Centennial, for property located at the southwest corner of Centennial Parkway and Valley Drive, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated item number 3, AMP 0717 for possible action.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Again, the same subject site, 3.3 acres located southwest corner of Centennial and Valley. Again, if I can get the overhead, please. Again, this will bring the land use for this and the zoning into conformance with surrounding uses. Put the land plan on the overhead. As you can see, the proposal is for a 17-lot single-family residential subdivision utilizing PUD zoning to achieve the special goals. One of the things we will have is a common element amenity, 5,000 square feet, which for a community this size should be more than sufficient. Necessary off-site improvements will be constructed with the development. With that, I'll go ahead and conclude my presentation and make myself available for any questions.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions at this time? None? Now we'll open up for public comment. Would anybody like to come up and comment on this item during public hearing? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and the chair will take a motion.
I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 5, approve UN 3317 Somerset Academy Valley Campus Charter School for applicant LVCSD Saddle LLC, property owner Zornis Family Trust, for a special use permit in an R3 multifamily residential district to allow a charter school, K through 8, on property located at the southwest corner of Valley Drive and Turkey Court for possible action.
Mr. Gronauer.
Thank you, Your Honor, members of the council. Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. I'm here representing Somerset Academy in this matter. If I could get your attention to the overhead, I could show you the exact location. The property is highlighted here, as you can see where it says site. This is just north of the 215. You have Decatur Boulevard located here. This is the Walmart Shopping Center. You have an existing multifamily development project right behind Walmart. And along Valley here in this area where it dead ends, this is the vacant piece of property. This is for Somerset Academy. Somerset Academy has a couple of locations already here in the city of North Las Vegas. They are very excited coming in with another charter school. We believe that this is an excellent location. The property is currently zoned for R3 for more multifamily in this area. Don't think it's necessarily appropriate for that. It's not appropriate for commercial development. It's the best suited use would be a school use here, such as what we're proposing. Your staff is recommending approval. Your planning commission also unanimously recommended approval of the project, and I'm here to answer any other questions that you may have. We'd ask you to follow the staff's recommendations and planning recommendations and conditions.
Thank you, Council. Any comments or questions on this item at this time? I might ask one, Mr. Groner. I haven't drove over here, but on Turkey Court, is there any houses facing Turkey Court? And is that the ingress and egress road for Somerset?
Actually, it's a very good question. That is one of the ingress and egress ways. I'm going to show you the school on the overhead here. One of the things that we would like to do in the near future is you see Turkey Court. There are no homes that face on Turkey Court. What we would like to do is essentially come in with a street name change and change it to Somerset Court in this area here. It would have no impact on any existing homes or businesses in the area, but we do have access in here, and we also have some access over here as shown.
Yeah, that was my concern. I think there's probably a more apropos name than that for that school on that road there. I just wanted to, I didn't want that to become a kind of a more of a humorous thing. That Somerset's a very serious school, and they put out a good product. I was just worried about that name a little bit, but I don't think we'd have a problem if nobody's facing that road and it's not going to be a big mailing, address change or anything like that. So,
No, and we've already been doing some of our due diligence, but that's a to-come matter later and talking
Yeah.
to your staff. But you brought it up, and I'm giving you the heads up, planting the seed, so to speak.
I appreciate that. Great. We'll open this up to public comment right now. Anybody like to address the council in public hearing on this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, what's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Thank you.
Item 6, conduct public hearing regarding recommendation for the allocation of $1,200,268 in FY 2017-2018 Community Development Block Grant Capital Improvement Project funding. Authorize city manager or her designee to enter into appropriate agreements of approved projects and programs as required, and authorize staff to administratively approve any revised funding allocations for possible action.
Thank you. Now I'll open the public hearing. Anyone would like to make a presentation or comment on this item? Please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion. However, any consent item may be moved to the business portion of the agenda for discussion at the request of any council member.
Mayor and Council, consent agenda consists of items number 7 through 14. The recommendation is approved as presented.
Thank you. No changes on this, so the chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda this evening.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Moving on to business.
Item 15, approve interlocal agreement with the Clark County to provide funds in the amount of $25,000 to the City of North Las Vegas for Silver Mesa Recreation Center Senior Program Expansion for possible action.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this item, council? If not, the chair will take a motion.
I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 16, adopt City of North Las Vegas Arts and Cultural Strategic Plan, 2018 through 2020.
Thank you. Do we have a presentation on this evening? Thank you, Mr. Palmer.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Cass Palmer, Director of Neighborhood and Leisure Services, etc. Tonight, we have a wonderful opportunity to expand and take our arts into our North Las Vegas community. A little while ago, we worked with the State of Nevada Arts Council, and we were lucky enough to receive a grant to bring a full-time consultant on to help us develop our thoughts and ideas into a 3-year strategic plan for our arts community. And thanks. So tonight, we're asking for you to adopt that plan. But several comments. One, the mission is to enhance and celebrate the unique cultural identity of North Las Vegas. So the focus is going to be on what we do here in North Las Vegas that makes us stand out. Second, the vision, a city in which the arts enrich the lives of all residents, enhance the livability of our communities throughout, and contribute to the city's economic revitalization. So we've got some lofty goals, but it's the right goals to have. Goals are simple, 3-year strategic plan. We're going to set aside $85,000 from the Parks and Rec budget, so it's no impact to the city, short of $85,000 from the parks. But within that, the first year, we'll start off with a couple of exhibits down here at Stone Soup Gallery at City Hall. Then we'll move in, we'll have some artist residency community projects. And we'll reach out into the community and get some local artists to get involved, park art over here at Stone Soup or wherever the art may be. Also, some bus tours of some of the cultural sites in North Las Vegas, again, to increase public access and participation in our arts program. The outcome is the recognition of North Las Vegas as a progressive, family-friendly community while engaging a rich and cultural life for all. The last couple of years, 2 years, we'll be expanding the Stone Soup Gallery exhibitions. There are some roving galleries that the state of Nevada sponsors, approximately 30 pieces of art that goes around from community to community. We'll capture them and bring them down here. Our Parkey digital billboards, the one in front of Craig Ranch, and hopefully by the second year from now, we'll have a few more Parkeys around that we'll bring in and put up electronic art. So we'll take pictures, digitize them, and then boom, pop. And you'll see art for 4 seconds, and it'll just put a smile on your face. And then second Saturday in summer camp art experiences, we're coming up with some ideas to bring the kids out from the community to really expand and show them and expose them to the art world. And then partnerships with a wide variety of individual entities, with the library, colleges, and the local area businesses. But that's our 3-year plan for the Arts and Culture Strategic Plan. It's aggressive. At the same time, it's needed, and it just puts a little guidance to it. All of this information was gathered through several public meetings over at some of our rec centers, and 50 people at one meeting, 35 at the next, and 35 at the following meeting. So we got good insight from the arts community in terms of what they're looking for right here in North Las Vegas. So that's our request, is for you all to approve our strategic plan for 3 years. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments or questions? Councilmember Barone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Palmer, of course, you and I have had extensive discussions regarding this, right? Just before the city council meeting, the mayor and I, we were discussing a few things. And one thing that he made very clear to me was that this idea that that North Las Vegas is a suburb or bedroom community. And one thing that's part of the mayor's vision, I think, is that we're not going to be a suburb to anybody, that we're a standalone city. And quite frankly, I think an arts and cultural strategic plan, your plan that we're doing here, this is a mark of the city moving in its own direction. I mean, this is a great hallmark. We've never done these things before. We've never had our own arts and culture. I think part of it is because we've always kind of like relied on our neighbors to the south to provide these programs for us. But the time is definitely right for us to move in the direction of providing for ourselves. And number one, I want to commend you and your staff. There's a lot of people in our library who also we've had cultural programs through our library. We've done that. I know I've always had all the support from my colleagues here on the city council, the senior staff. I want to thank you and of course all of your staff who and of course our members from the community who have given so much of their time to make this happen. Every once in a while, I guess I get so caught up on things I forget. Like one thing I forgot is just next week we're going to have the late summer musing. It's another art show. If people have noticed it when you came in, the art show has already been hung up. So the late summer musing, we're going to have a reception next Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. And of course, again, I always get so caught up in things get so excited I forget those things. Having a simple reception like that cannot be possible without the support of yourself and our staff. And so I want to thank you for that. And I think for us, I'm primed. I'm very excited. I can't wait for us to open up our soon to be, in my mind, soon to be our own arts and cultural center, to be announced later on, I guess.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Did you have a question? Here was Ms. Goins-Brown.
Casting at the end of the 3 years, is there a way to just have discussion and expanding and maybe to add music, cultural music, or maybe even out here on our City Hall campus, just music that represents all the cultures, because it's such a diverse city, as long as with the visual arts as well?
Yes, great question. And the 3-year plan is just the kickoff, so that plan will go in perpetuity thereon. But all versions and all variety of arts will be included, from the hard art to park art to music to whatever the case may be. So it'll be eclectic, no question, and fascinating. Jazz, right? Except for jazz.
Any other comments or questions from the council? I'd just like to thank you, Director Palmer, being the most creative and visionary parks administrator in Nevada. We still have a huge goal of trying to get our parks off our general fund, but you're doing a great job of moving us in that direction, and I want to applaud you for that. But at this point in time, Mr. Jeff Alpert, please come forward. Thank you very much, Councilman.
Good evening, Jeff Alpert, 3828 Fusilier Drive, North Las Vegas, 89032. I was surprised to see this item on the agenda tonight because as of a couple of months ago, I had paid almost no attention to this Arts and Cultural Advisory Board. I did look a few months ago at the documentation that's available to the public online, and I saw many of their meetings were canceled, and when they did have any agenda items, they were just talking about small decorative arts, like on utility boxes that were being suggested. So I was wondering what I was going to see about the strategic plan, because I would imagine most people in our city don't have any idea that we have an Arts and Cultural Advisory Board to even begin with. So I read through the documentation. Cass just gave a very short overview, but there's a lot of information online, and I was quite pleased to see that it was quite varied and quite extensive. And there's a lot of particular items in this strategic plan. And I think we're moving in the right direction. For a long time, our city has not done much in the way of arts and culture. I know Craig Ranch has given us many opportunities to have programs, and I know Director Lewis is doing a great job with the libraries, offering cultural programs to our young kids. And I appreciate what Councilman Barone is doing with the Stone Soup Art Gallery. I think it's a great thing, and I know he has future plans for more. Because right now, the city of North Las Vegas does not have an art museum. We do have, I believe, just one private art gallery on Gowan that's called Left of Center. It's right down the street where I live, and I don't think many people even know about it. Occasionally, there's an article in the newspaper about it. The one thing I wanted to add, it was, Cass mentioned briefly that part of this strategic plan is to include cultural tours of our city. And I noticed the first one coming up in early November will include a stop at Kyle Ranch. So being that's my cup of tea, I'm offering to volunteer my services if Cass thinks it would be helpful for me to be there to add some colorful history to the people that stop by and visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alpert.
And Mr. Alpert, I'd just like to say thank you for all the articles that you send to us. I mean, you've really done your due diligence, so thank you again.
I have to give a shout out to Carlos Izeta. He's our new Arts and Cultural Council Advisory Board chair. And since the beginning of the early summer, he's really taken on and put some energy into the program. He's really been doing a bang-up job the last few meetings. And yes, Jeff, we'd love to have you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Anybody from the general public would like to address the council? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Chair will take a motion to approve the Arts and Cultural Strategic Plan.
I would like to enthusiastically move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 17, approve amendment number 1 to the professional engineering services agreement with CA Group, Inc. to increase funding of the original agreement from $600,000 to $923,185 from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada Fuel Revenue Indexing Funds for the Las Vegas Boulevard improvements, Tonopah Avenue to Cary Avenue project, CIP project numbers 20015, 10400 for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item?
Just, this is yet another step that we're improving our core downtown. We are not left behind, and unless one of my colleagues would like to say anything, I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 18, pass and adopt resolution number 2587, revising the meeting schedule of the North Las Vegas Veterans Community Commission for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
All right, Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Churchill, and thank you for all the hard work you've done on that area of our Veterans Commission. And you're rewarded. Thank you very much. Hey, I'd like to stop before we go into final ordinances and let you know in the audience today we have a couple of dignitaries. Councilman Goins Brown, who served, I think, maybe 18, how many years? I mean, Councilman Goins, how many years did you serve here, sir, as a councilman? How many years was that? We believe 18 years of service on the city council is in the audience with us this evening. We want to recognize you and thank you for your many years of service. And you'll recognize his very dashing, beautiful daughter is up here serving in his place now. We'd like to give Councilman Goins a hand. Yeah. And happy birthday on the 20th. That's a wonderful day. And we have probably maybe the second best mayor and second most handsome mayor that ever served in North Las Vegas with us tonight, former Mike Montandon in the audience here. And I just joke a little bit. Mike was probably one of the most progressive mayors that we had in North Las Vegas and set this city up in many, many ways to become the city it is today. And we thank you for your leadership. And I think it was your 12 years of service. And I think term limits kind of had you retire. You'd still be here today, I'm sure. Thank you for being with us today, Mayor. Moving on to ordinances, final action.
Item 19, pass and adopt ordinance number 2821, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 4.5 acres therein from an R1 single-family low-density residential district to a C2 general commercial district, ZN 1517 Craig and Clayton, for property generally located on Craig Road, approximately 280 feet east of the northeast corner of Craig Road and Clayton Street, and providing for other matters properly related thereto for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve this item.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 20, pass and adopt ordinance number 2822, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 73 acres therein from an OL open land district to an M2 general industrial district, ZN 2017 Tropical Business Park, for property generally located at the northeast and southeast corners of El Campo Grande Avenue and Sloan Lane alignment, and providing further matters properly related thereto for possible action.
Thank you very much. Sir, did you fill out a blue card?
No, sir.
Okay, in the future, if you fill out a blue card, then the clerk has your information, and we enter it into the exhibits for the day. So if you do that before you leave, that'd be great.
Thank you.
And your name?
Mr. Mayor, my name is, members of the council, my name is Brent Parrish, 5740 South Arvale Street, Las Vegas, here on behalf of the client tonight.
Pardon me?
I'm here on behalf of the client.
Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead. Mr. Parrish.
The application before you is to reclassify approximately 73 acres of property out in the northeast part of town, located at the intersection of Tropical Parkway and Sloan Avenue. Currently, zoning designation is open land. We're rezoning it to M2, which is supported by staff. The applicant, I'll give you a brief history on the applicant. Van Trust Real Estate is the developer that brought approximately 3.2 million square feet of industrial warehouse here to the city of North Las Vegas in the last 2 years, called Northgate and Northgate South. Some of those tenants include Amazon, The Honest Company, Fanatics, and et cetera. We're excited about this new opportunity here in this part of the valley, Van Trust's commitment to the city of North Las Vegas, and want to recognize staff and their hard work over the last 2 years with all the efforts bringing that amount of product to the market and in the city has been tremendous, and we appreciate staff's support of that. Tonight's recommendations of approval reviewed. We concur with those recommendations and are here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions? Seeing none, chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Congratulations and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Item 21, pass and adopt ordinance number 2824, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 158 acres therein from RE Ranch Estates District to a PUD, Planned Unit Development District, consisting of the following: approximately 123 acres of single-family lots, approximately 710 dwelling units, approximately 12 net acres of multifamily residential, approximately 384 multifamily dwelling units, and approximately 22 acres of commercial development, ZN 2217 Sedona Ranch, for property bounded by El Campo Grande Avenue to the north and Ann Road to the south, Bruce Street to the east, and Commerce Street to the west, and providing for other matters properly related thereto for possible action.
Thank you, Mr. Gronauer.
Thank you, Your Honor, members of the council. Good evening. My name is Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. In this matter, I'm representing Sedona Ranch, and with me today is Mr. Guy Insalaco and Chris Armstrong, who are the principals and are part of the principal group of Sedona Ranch. You guys have had many presentations before you over the last year or so with respect to this project. As we all know, it's commonly referred to in the past as the pig farm area. I know I saw Mr. and Mrs. Combs here in the audience that are here tonight also. The property itself is, if you look on the overhead here, you can take a look at this. And what's interesting about this is, and I said this at the Planning Commission meeting, this is probably the largest infill piece of property that you'll see in southern Nevada. And so when I say that, it becomes one of the jewels of the area that is unknown throughout southern Nevada. And the reason is because you cannot find property of approximately 160 acres plus or minus of property that is surrounded completely by development and is ready for development such as this. So it's pretty exciting. And as you know, Mr. Insulaco and Mr. Armstrong are part of the Olympia group in Southern Highlands. They have the experience of building in master plan communities. And so obviously here, this is a great opportunity in working with Mr. and Mrs. Combs on the purchase and sale of the property. As you guys know, with your encouragement, this property could be developed in Clark County, but with your conversations with the Sedona Ranch Group, they decided to annex the property into the city of North Las Vegas for development. And as of in June of this year, it's been annexed into the city of North Las Vegas. So along with your other master plan communities that are currently being developed, this is a newer master plan community you could look at as also being developed itself. So the boundaries of the property, just for information purposes, to the north here is El Campo Grande Avenue. To the south is Ann Road itself. And then over here to the west is North Commerce Street. And over here to the east is Bruce Street itself. And then we have North 5th Street that goes right through essentially the middle of the property. So we call this the west side and the east side of the property itself. Just from the aerial point of view, as you can see here, this is where mainly where over the many years the pig farm operations was in existence. As along with this development itself, it's going to take millions and millions of dollars to clean up the pig farm area in this location as I'm showing you. So we're excited that we're able to come in with some proposed development that I'm going to show you here very shortly, but I wanted to give you an idea that this is obviously going to be the last part of development in the community itself. And the reason is because we got to do the cleanup. And then on the approximately 5 acres of property up in this area, Mr. and Mrs. Combs, as you know and has been told, they have a life estate use up here for themselves, and what that means is they're there for as long as they want to be there, and they've been there before many of us, and they're going to be there after many of us also. So that's the way this area is going to be planned, and this gives you an idea of what's happening. So the next page I want to show you is the project itself. As you can see, many different colors of the project itself. Again, Ann Road, El Campo Grande, Commerce, and Bruce over here in North 5th Street. We do have builders in line as we stand here tonight before you. That's the fun and exciting thing. We have 3 national public builders that are going to be coming in here and building on these properties located here. We already have their tentative maps approved, subject to this approval here tonight. So that would get them to kickstart and get moving on development sooner than later. This property here in red is our commercial development and proposed commercial development down in this area. So we do have single family planned here, and we have single family also planned here. And as we've discussed, we have some multifamily planned in the future in this area along North 5th Street. Please remember that this area is planned for higher intense uses itself because it's in your transportation corridor that was approved about 10 years ago. The transportation corridor is approved for future bus rapid transit and or light rail transit. And so developments such as this, we have been giving the other developers along North 5th Street have been coming in and giving you the wider widths or the bigger widths of the street sections to accommodate the future light rail transit and bus rapid transit. We've had a couple neighborhood meetings. I've had numerous conversations with a lot of neighbors on the telephone just out of questions with respect to the project itself. We believe that we've addressed many of those issues and concerns and questions and everything that goes along with every project. But I think at the end of the day, some of the key things here with this development here is you're going to be removing some of the disclosures for the pig farm disclosures and notifications that have been approved on all these projects in the area, which, as you know, from a property value standpoint, it kind of keeps that property value a little bit lower when you know that you have a pig farm here, and because of the smells and noxious smells and so on and so on. The good news here is with this is that removes all of that ability where we believe those property values now will go up in conjunction with the new homes that are going to be developed in this area. So we're also excited about that. I think that's a great partnership is you bring in 160 plus or minus acres into the city and you're able to bring up the property values in this area. So this is going to fit nicely, as I call it, the jewel within the city of North Las Vegas. The last thing that I want to point out, well, two things. One is, before I forget, I want to thank your staff. Your staff has been tremendous, from Lorena working on the annexations to Mark Jordan and Jennifer Duty's staff and so on, in working with the project itself. As you know, projects like this aren't easy. Typically, a 20-acre project is not easy. Here in this instance, as I said, you got a project that's 8 times the size. And so we're excited. We appreciate your staff for working with us through a lot of issues. You know, there's a lot of things that go on this. This isn't, just go through everything and just stand up here and get things approved. There's a lot of work and a lot of discussions. So it takes me to the last issue that I do want to discuss fairly quickly. I know your staff has some language here about a condition. I believe it's condition number 9 in the staff backup. And I do apologize to you in advance. This isn't something where I feel most comfortable, so I might butcher this as I go through this. Because I pride myself to get things done in advance so we can say, hey, we got these conditions done and it's done, and we're in and we're out. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have some dialogue here because over the last couple of weeks, I thought we're on the same page, and then we're not, and then we were, and we're not, and so we I think, have to discuss some language here. And again, I apologize on a condition, and let me explain what this is you see this area here in red, we have a couple anchor tenants of commercial tenants. This is 20 acres plus or minus a property that is interested in coming into the area for a commercial shopping center. One of the key components, like it or not, for the shopping center is that they want to have full signalized access. Okay, that's the key. We're not making it up. If you can understand a commercial developer, they want to make sure that their customers can come in and come out into the property itself. One of the things that your staff initially recommended at the Planning Commission was that only allow us to have right access in, right access out. That does not necessarily work. So what we asked is, we know there's another development, commercial developer further up north, Durrell and North 5th Street, where they've done a deed restriction. Basically, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, is that the deed restriction is that they could have a signalized intersection, but they have to remove it when the day comes, when the city comes through with the bus rapid light rail transit transportation corridor. Get it totally 100%. Get it with respect to if you build it, you're required to remove it. So we want to bring that concept to you tonight. We think it makes sense. It gives us the ability to tie down our anchor tenant here because then they at least have some certainty, understanding that there is a signalized intersection that is going to be here, but they know it could be removed when the transportation corridor is under construction. Okay, so that's the gist of the condition that we want to meet. And I know we've worked with your staff trying to get a deed restriction, and we said, look, we could do that within the next 30 days to do the deed restriction. This is all in good faith. We want to get it done. And I believe there's some language that we got to munch over here and go back and forth on. And I apologize. The gist is, and I know your city attorney will read in the language, is we want to have a definitive time that we know that when that signal could be removed, which we believe, which makes sense, is the date of whenever the city is going to start their construction for the North 5th corridor. we've already we're dedicating about 190 feet wide of property. I mean, it's coming at some point in time, but it's not coming next year. We know that. Your city, I believe, in the condition tonight for the deed restriction is asking that there's an addition condition in there, and I'm paraphrasing again, is essentially that if there's a public safety issue out there, that it could be removed anytime prior to the North Fifth Corridor being done. The concern with that from us, as I'm mentioning, is we won't get a commercial guy that will come in that will invest. It's going to be about $30 to $40 million that they're going to invest at this area, and you wouldn't put $30 or $40 million into a commercial shopping center if you knew you could build a signalized intersection. And although everybody could say we're not going to remove it next month, but if somebody says there's a possibility that you could remove it next month, we're not going to get a commercial guy that goes in there. But if we tell them that it could be removed at the time of whenever that construction goes, they understand that. They'll do their due diligence, and at least that's a time certain that we know that it's going to happen at some point in time. So that's really it. And again, I apologize. These things need to be done beforehand. I'll take ownership on this of not getting that done as much as I want it to be. But sometimes this is how this process works, and we got to be here at the podium and discussing these things. So that's really it. I know we're going to have some dialogue here, and I have my client, Guy and Slocco, here to confirm what I've said with respect to the commercial development and concerns. So I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments or questions? Councilman Churchio.
Yeah, I probably will have some questions, Mayor, but if staff is going to speak to the issue that Mr. Gronauer brought up, I would rather first hear their opinions on this particular signal issue. I know I've been involved in many discussions on this particular item. I just need to know exactly where we are on this right now.
We had a question for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was bringing Guy up. Sorry. Can you
Yeah,
repeat?
Bob, it was just, I know we had discussion on this week, and I know that there was a concern or a question on that signal on North Fifth. And I believe we had at least agreed in principle what needed to be done over there. And if there's something in addition that staff needs to address, aside from what we talked about at our meeting, I'd like to first hear what our city attorney, our city manager has to say about it.
Mayor and Council, as you know, condition number 9, as approved by Planning Commission, was not allowed signal on North Fifth Street. In light of the current density along this corridor, also in light of the future plan for this corridor, we would like to accommodate the developer's desire to have this mid-block signal. However, would also be agreeable to remove it at their expense in the future when we start the development of this corridor. So I think what Mr. Gronauer just put on the record, saying that when city is ready to improve this North Fifth Street corridor, then they are willing to remove it, and that will be a amenable condition to staff. However, if we want to tie it to the mass transit at the time that we have mass transit, as a long-time public works director, I would have concern to tie it to mass transit, simply because that it takes a long time to build the ridership. Maybe you're on the RTC board, you know, RTC is not going to put a transit on a corridor unless there's sufficient ridership to support such service. However, we have to build the infrastructure ahead of the demand. And sometimes you may have to build the interchange. Sometimes you may have to increase the length of the turning bay, like it's a left turn lane bay, and because specific requirements of a project or land use in terms of the intensity, in terms of the relationship to the peak hour traffic, we may have those needs. We cannot really anticipate until this corridor is fully developed. We At the meantime, cannot wait until the last minute to put improvements in. First of all, we have to plan ahead. So if Mr. Gonal and his client is agreeable to put the language he just put on record to remove the signal at the city's request when we are ready to construct or improve the North Fifth Corridor per the transit-oriented corridor plan.
Okay, I think I understand. So are we okay with this now? Because Bob, you brought up something about any potential accidents over there between Wendy.
That was
just
that was
something
yeah,
else.
That was about a condition that we were talking about earlier about
Right.
public safety.
Okay.
But based on, I think, the conversation here, that what I just heard, I think we're on the same page. But before I say I think, I know we got to put something in writing to confirm that.
Okay.
And I think that's what they're going to confirm. And
Okay.
While they're confirming, I have a question.
Yes.
Guy, you hired for a short period of time Key Reed to help us remove that smell restriction that was on a lot of deeds in that area there. Mr. Jordan, I don't know, maybe you know more about that than I do, but have we done anything to release those homes within the area of that notification?
No, we don't have any definitive plan yet, but it's, I mean, there's some that there is some title, there's some notification on title, obviously, on some of these developments around there, and we're still trying to work through the details of how we're going to, it's really going to be up to the homeowner to go to the title company, show that this, something by the city, there's going to have to be some action taken by the city to remove it. And really, maybe nothing more than and I don't know, Bob, because we talked about this, some type of notice that we could send out to all the adjoining landowners that says that the agricultural use has now been removed, the pig farm has been removed, and so it no longer has to be on title.
Okay, great. I think, would you mind if I ask staff a little bit of questions? I think we have a responsibility as the city to work on that issue. Mr. Alfredo or Mark, anybody? What this will do is take that notification off, so all the property owners will not have that on their deeds. When realtors look in that area, they won't see that and consider that kind of a blemish on their particular residential homes in the area.
Right, Mayor. In the beginning stages when we were talking about this, what we agreed to do as staff is we went back and researched all the developments that actually had that statement on there. And then as a result, we provided all the developments, the case numbers, and also the parcel maps and the parcel numbers that were associated with that to Mr. Armstrong over here, so that it was my understanding what they were going to do is look in and probably sending a letter out to all those property owners and letting them know that this is going away, and possibly provide a mechanism to remove that from their paperwork. And so we've already done that research and provided that to them.
Okay, the reason I say is because I know the market seems to be very fluid right now, and there's a lot of people buying, a lot of people selling. I just didn't want anybody who was selling their home to be maybe have that deficit of potential capital that they could earn because of that agricultural restriction on there. So I'm cognizant of the fact of the homeowners on this. And I think while I have a second, while we're conferring here, I would like to mention that Mr. and Mrs. Coombs are in the audience right now. Combs are in the audience. And thank you and Mayor Mike Montana once again for coming together and allowing us to become partners with you as the property's been annexed into North Las Vegas. It was one of the last historical pieces of property within our community. And now you are officially North Las Vegas residents. We want to thank you so much for all your many years of support to North Las Vegas, and now you're one of our own. So we appreciate you. And I'm curious, are we at a sidebar here, Madam City Attorney?
Mayor, while they're still talking over there, I'd like to just add to what you said about Mr. and Mrs. Combs. I don't have the tenure here that very many of you do here over the years, but even though they were on a county island and not officially part of North Las Vegas, I know that they always were attending the meetings and being very transparent with the potential landowners over there. and have always been very involved with the city, doing very good things. And I just wanted to say for the record that that both of them are probably the nicest people I've ever met. And I'm personally happy to have them officially part of North Las Vegas, although I always considered you part of the community. So thank you so much for all you do.
Are we to an agreement?
Yes, Mayor. So let me read into the record what the parties have agreed to. On the ordinance, on page 4, after condition 9, we propose to add the following language. If developer records a restrictive covenant satisfactory to both the city and the developer prior to September 16, 2017, then this condition shall automatically be modified to read as follows. Per the master plan of streets and highways, North 5th Street is the main arterial connecting the Northern Beltway to downtown. Incidentally, access points are limited to maintain an optimum level of service while accommodating significant traffic volumes in transit in accordance with the North 5th Street Transit Supportive Concept Plan. Developer is allowed a signalized intersection allowing full turning movements onto North 5th Street at developer's sole cost and expense. Developer shall record a restricted covenant against a commercial property to require the property owner at its sole cost and expense to remove the signal and associated off-site improvements upon the city's request to improve the North 5th Street corridor per the transit-oriented plan along North 5th Street adjacent to the property.
Thank you. Bobby, does your...
Yes, we, for the record, we do confirm with that condition.
Okay, your client confirms that.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Gwinsbrand, did you have a question?
Yeah. Bob, can you go back to the first map that you showed?
Yeah.
I think it was
I'm
the
getting
one.
it, I'm getting it.
And just for clarification, because Rocky was just asking me questions about the Combs residence, if you could just clarify that for him real quick, please.
The what?
The
Combs? Yes. The Combs have about approximately 5 acres of property here. It is adjacent to El Campo Grande and North 5th Street in this area here. So this is the area where you had approximately 40 acres of the main activity for the pig farm itself in this area. And then you can see here where it's been basically vacant, desert property. And then you had some, I believe, some cows were over here for many years also.
Thank you very much. So council, any comments or questions at this time? So if not, the chair will take a motion to, as amended, will be your motion if you approve or disapprove. Does anybody
Mayor.
make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Congratulations, Mr. Groen.
Thank you, council, and again, I want to thank your staff. Thank you.
And
very
good luck
much.
to that project.
Yes.
Item 22, pass and adopt ordinance number 2825, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 42.51 acres therein from an MPC RZ 13 master plan community residential up to 13 dwelling units per acre district and MPC RZ 25 master plan community residential up to 25 dwelling units per acre district to R2 PCD medium high density residential plan community district ZN 1217 villages at Toulouse Springs Village 4 parcels 4.01 and 4.02 for property generally located between the Durrell Lane and Clark County 215 alignments and west of the Lawrence Street alignment and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated items number 23 ordinance number 2826, number 24 ordinance number 2827, number 25 ordinance number 2828, and number 26 ordinance number 2829 for possible action.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Council, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 23, pass and adopt ordinance number 2826, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 15.43 acres therein from an MPC RZ 13 master plan community residential up to 13 dwelling units per district, MPC RZ 25 master plan community residential up to 25 dwelling units per acre district, MPC PSP Master Plan Community Public Semi-Public District, and MPC MUZ Master Plan Community Mixed Use District to PSP PCD Public Semi-Public Plan Community District, ZN 1617, Villages at Tule Springs, Village 4, parcels NP 4.01, 4.04, and 2 entry features located at the southeast corner of parcel 4.04 and southwest corner of parcel 4.05. For property generally located north of Deer Springs Way and approximately 760 feet west of Lawrence Street and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated items number 22, ordinance number 2825, 24, ordinance number 2827, number 25, ordinance number 2828, and number 26, ordinance number 2829 for possible action.
Thank you once again. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 24, pass and adopt ordinance number 2827, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 16.06 acres therein from current designation of MPC MUZ Master Plan Community Mixed Use District and MPC RZ 25 Master Plan Community Residential up to 25 dwelling units per acre district to RCL PCD Medium Density Residential Plan Community District, ZN 1717, Villages at Tule Springs, Village 4, parcel 4.05, for property generally located at northwest corner of Deer Springs Way and Lawrence Street and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated item number 22, ordinance 2825, number 23, ordinance 2826, number 25, ordinance 2828, and number 26, ordinance number 2829 for possible action.
Thank you, council. Any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 25, pass and adopt ordinance number 2828, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 28.86 acres therein from an MPC PSP Master Plan Community Public Semi-Public District, MPC RZ 13 Master Plan Community Residential up to 13 dwelling units per acre district, and MPC RZ 25 Master Plan Community Residential up to 25 dwelling units per acre district, to RCL PCD Medium Density Residential Plan Community District, ZN 1817, Villages at Tule Springs, Village 4, parcel 4.03, for property generally located north of Deer Springs Way and approximately 580 feet east of Donna Street, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated items number 22, ordinance number 2825, number 23, ordinance number 2826, number 24, ordinance number 2827, and number 26, ordinance number 2829 for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved.
Item 28, pass and adopt ordinance number 2829. Oh, excuse me.
26.
Item 26, pass and adopt ordinance number 2829, amending section 010 of chapter 16 of title 17 of the municipal code by reclassifying approximately 8.73 acres therein from an MPC PSP Master Plan Community Public Semi-Public District to PSP PCD Public Semi-Public Plan Community District, ZN 1917, Villages Tule Springs, Village 4, parcels NP 4.02, PF 4.01, and drainage channel, for property generally located at the northeast corner of Deer Springs Way and Donna Street, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. Associated items number 22, ordinance number 2825, number 23, ordinance number 2826, number 24, ordinance number 2827, and number 25, ordinance number 2828 for possible action.
Thank you. Councilor, any comments or questions on this item? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve this item.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Item is approved. Moving on to appointments.
Note for the viewing audience, items 27 and 29 through 31 were continued to September 20th at the beginning of this meeting. Item 28, appointment by Councilman Barone of a citizen member to the Arts and Culture Advisory Board for a term coterminous with his term on the City Council, continued July 19, 2017, for possible action.
Councilman Barone.
Mayor, I'm a little bit embarrassed. I got a message back, and apparently I got my signals crossed on them. I promise that if I'm granted a stay of just 30 more days, I promise that this time it's going to happen. And here I am, Mr. Arts and Cultural Board, and I'm really embarrassed. But if someone, if my colleagues here would please indulge me in just one more chance here, I will get it right.
I'm sure you're being very diligent to pick the most perfect, wonderful person for this committee.
So the motion is to continue to September 20th?
Please.
There we go. We have a motion. Councilman Barone, that's your motion. Please cast your vote. Items approved. Oh, a little ahead of myself. Items approved. Moving on to city manager's report.
No additional report. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to second public forum. Councilman, do we have anybody like to speak to the council tonight? Mr. Jeff Alpert, please come forward.
Good evening again. Jeff Alpert, 3828 Drive, North Las Vegas, 89032. Tonight I wanted to talk about a new feature that I believe is new on our city website. If you play around on our city website and from the homepage go to meetings and agendas, there's some tabs you can press on. One of them will take you to the SIRE site that will list the meetings, agendas, related materials, but there's also a tab called Documents. And if you go and click on Documents, it opens up a search portal that's something brand new. And it's like Google. There's a box. You can enter keywords. You can click on three choices like exact words, one word, or all these words. And I played around with it probably at least 4 or 5 hours this week, finally having some access to things the normal residents haven't had in the past, and that is old agendas from City Council, including the minutes. So by doing research on White House, Kyle Ranch, and other related topics that I've been doing research on, I was able to print out a huge stack of documentation. So after 4 or 5 hours of printing and researching, I spent about 2 hours reading today and learned a lot. First thing that's most impressive is somebody scanned all these documents. They go back to 1960. So 57 years of agenda items, like your agenda tonight's going to wind up there. You can Google my name and you can see every time I was up at the microphone for a city council meeting and what I said. So it's pretty fascinating. And one of the things you notice when you start looking at the old agendas from the 1960s and 70s, the first thing you'll notice is how cheap everything was. The police cars, were cheap, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And you notice also the city budget, how small it was, just $1 million or $2 million. And it's pretty interesting. And I think the council members would appreciate that the meeting started at 7:05 p.m. And then around 9:48 at night, they would take a recess and come back for more. So they were here late hours, and I'm sure Councilman Goins remembers those days, because when you Google, he's on a lot of those agendas. And another thing you notice is, in those days, a lot of people put in blue cards. So when there were agenda items, there were lists of speakers galore. So even though the town was small, people came out, it affected their neighborhood, and they were ready to talk. And one thing I wanted to share tonight was the following. As you know, our state was founded in 1864. So our city council in 1964, getting ready for the 100th anniversary, they had a proclamation in late August 1964, and it was called Centennial Year State of Nevada Proclamation. And they introduced it as the City of North Las Vegas Centennial Days, spelled D-A-Z-E. And I just want to read a couple of the whereases. It says, whereas amongst the doings of the day will be a parade, field events, water pageant, melodrama, fireworks, and placement of a time capsule to be opened by the administration of 2064. All for the community, by the community. And whereas the placement of 3 savings account passbooks entered into the 3 financial institutions serving this community, such principal and interest accrued made payable to the Bicentennial Committee shall be placed in the time capsule, along with letters from administration, military, and service organizations, coins and medallions, reports and newspapers, all for the people of North Las Vegas, to be opened in 2064. So now we have 2 time capsules we have to search for, one at Kyle Ranch and one wherever this was placed. And can you imagine if those passbooks are still good, Mayor? We may have a solution to all our financial crises.
Mr. Alpert, this is not we should agendize everything we talk about, but I was there that day at Jim Bridger at the pool and watched them put that stuff in there.
So is this the time capsule?
And we can't find it.
Oh.
So I don't know where it went, but it was a great day for North Las Vegas, and it's exciting that you would bring that forward.
And I found other tidbits that are interesting. Next time I'll talk about something in Ward 3.
Actually, I know where it was buried. It's just not there anymore. You know, it's been removed.
It's probably in
so.
some storage room.
Thank you. That was very fun. Thank you, Mr. Alpert. Mr. Steve Schoaf, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Steve Schoaf, 5622 Midnight Breeze Street, North Las Vegas, Nevada 89081. The reason I'm up here speaking is we got a letter in the mail a couple days ago about a property that's going to be redeveloped on the corner of Bruce and Ann. About 1.5 years ago, this council approved 105 houses on that property. But since you now have this ordinance, which I think is terrible as far as the residential compact lots, they're going to come back to you now, get rid of the 62,000 square foot park they have in the middle of that parcel with 105 homes, and they'll probably ask you to come put 120 or 130 homes on that 20-acre parcel. I've gotten up here and spoken to you before about this RCL. If I had an overview of what you were looking at earlier for the Sedona Ranch, you would have seen that some of the surrounding properties on the eastern portion of that parcel were twice the size of what's being proposed to be put in that area right now. So I'm just asking you to consider revisiting the RCL, stop allowing all these developers to use all the perimeter landscaping as open space. You just had KB Homes come up here and say they're going to put a 5,000 square foot park in for 17 homes. The Sedona Ranch has an area of like 10 or 12,000 square feet for 122 homes. If KB Homes can put in a nice park, I think some of these other developers can do it too. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff. And I want to congratulate you. The other night, your wife Gay called me, and you were over at a local park area, and there was children running through, doing things they shouldn't have done, running on the roofs of the school, and you were very wise to call, and we got the police over there immediately and took care of that situation. So I want to thank you for your diligence in protecting the assets of the city.
I want to thank you too, Mayor. You were right on it. I called 2 or 3 times for dispatch, and they were busy. But once the mayor calls, things seem to happen, and you got the ball rolling over there. And unfortunately, the kids saw everybody coming and were able to get away. But I was told by the police sergeant there that they're over there all the time because of that pool being broke into. The fence is broke. The kids are in there all the time, and I know that the canopies and things that are in that park are all burnt up because people are throwing matches and stuff on it. That park is really not appreciated considering how much money the city of North Las Vegas has put into it for their enjoyment.
I know Mr. Palmer's working on the fencing issue as we speak to see what we can do about that. But it was your diligence that made that happen. Thank you.
Well, it's on my way home, so I drop by every time we leave City Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Cochran, Mr. Ronald Cochran.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, for the opportunity. I'm about to go very, very deep on you. I'm going to disgust you. I'm going to break your hearts at the same time. The reason why I came before you today is there's a 501(c) in this community, and it does affect y'all's community as well, because they take donations from your citizens and your businesses. I do not know if you give them grants or not, but they do get grants from Las Vegas, Clark County, as well as the state of Nevada, as well as substantial donations. The 501(c)(3) that I'm talking about commits illegal activities, and they break public policies every single day. According to the IRS, when that happens, they lose their charter and their trust. Veterans are being mistreated at a 501(c)(3) called Veterans Village. Veterans Village is running under a misnomer. 3/4 of the people there are not veterans. They are civilians on drug rehabilitation programs or other programs. When a veteran goes there, they are severely mistreated. They break NRS 118.330 all of the time. If you do not cooperate and let them in your dwelling for an inspection at their demand, they come back and they intimidate and harass and try to force entry. Also, if you stand up to them, they break NRS 200.571. They harass you big time. If you continue standing up to them, they break NRS 200.571, Section 1, stalking. This has occurred not only to myself, but as to others. One veteran was accused of a power outage at an entire building. That is due to an antiquated power system because it has not been replaced since the building was built in 1961. Not only was a veteran accused, he was given a 5-day written notice for being a nuisance. He was also threatened by staff, by many witnesses, with a baseball bat. I have myself been threatened by the maintenance man repeatedly. When I filed a grievance with Mr. Stalk, all of a sudden, they are trying to force me into room inspections immediately without a 24-hour written notice and no cases of emergency. When I stood up to them, and I have a major hernia, my testicles are in my intestine, I make that as a statement of fact. I have been aggravatedly stalked, NRS 200.575.2. This needs to stop. I have been confronted by the maintenance man on the property many times, as well as off the property, trying to engage me into a fist fight. If something happens and my bowels rupture, I will die. Also, there's a blatant false advertisement. They say that they feed the veterans. Veterans are starving. The cupboards are bare. They are supposed to have a kitchen facility under HUD standards to where we can cook hot meals. That does not exist, sir. It has not been there for over 2 months. We've been over 3 months. We went a period of over 3 months without water, hot water, until somebody finally called the health department and got it rectified. It is my recommendation, I'm going to make this recommendation to the Clark County Alderman as well as the Las Vegas City Council, that that property be held in trust and turned over to somebody who can properly manage it and take care of the veterans. I want this put on record. That is why I'm here. Now, the veterans that were supposed to come with me, they are in fear of retaliation and being thrown out in the streets.
Thank you
Mayor,
very much.
please do something about this.
It's interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
It's the first we've heard about it, but we'll take it as an incident. Thank you. Sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem will visit with you. Hey, Alex, the Mayor Pro Tem will visit with him after the meeting if he would like to wait 1 second. That gentleman?
That gentleman that just spoke, please.
Okay. And I think, is that it?
No, I'm sorry. Bob Combs.
Oh, Mr. Combs has left. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Combs. Okay, please come forward. All right, I didn't recognize you over there.
I'm here just to take a brief moment to tell you that I hope my wife and I came to see and listen to your meeting here tonight. It was done. We've enjoyed it, and we've been here 55 years coming up this April, and we both just hope that the new ranch coming in has as good a time as we've enjoyed with working with the city people. As you just heard from the previous speaker here, the history on the councils in the past. Mr. Goines, Councilman Goines, I sat through some of those, and I've enjoyed tonight as much. And I hope that the new Sedona Ranch enjoys the same pleasure we've had here for 54 years, working with hard-working people here that put a long day in and come down tonight. So I won't keep you up any longer. Thank you very much for our time. And my sons have another ranch, so don't worry about your work, folks.
Thank you
and
for your
also-
generosity, though.
Also, they'll be, thank you, John, but thank you, they'll be producing fresh eggs too, at the ranch up there. And so I just hope that more people will get to come to North Las Vegas and enjoy the life that we've had here. And we're going to stay involved in agriculture, and because we feel we have a lot of cooperation from you. And I hope my sons and Sedona Ranch do likewise. Enjoy it. And
Thank you for that treasure you've left for us. Thank you so much. And Mr. Johnson, please come forward. If anybody else would like to speak after Mr. Johnson, this would be the time to come forward. John?
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is John Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of a nonprofit you guys all know. I wanted to actually address what the gentleman said because that was actually very touching, and I actually have a personal story myself about nonprofits, and this actually what motivated me to create my nonprofit, to actually be genuine and want to help people. So myself, I was homeless at one point in time. And I was at Catholic Charities, and they're supposed to help. But when you're there, they don't treat you right. The way they talk to you, the food that they give you, it's not how you're supposed to treat people. So I feel his pain, being a veteran and have to deal with that type of stuff. But I'm gonna move on from that and actually talk about what I came here to talk about today. So what we're going to be addressing with the nonprofit in North Las Vegas and in the community is the recidivism rate. Ex-felons here in Nevada, these are statistics. Well, before I read you the statistics, I want to actually give you the definition of the recidivism rate and what that is. So recidivism rate is the proportion of offenders who return to a correctional facility within NDOC within a 36-month period, whether they're getting released on parole or being discharged. So actually in the NDOC, they keep records. They're called cohorts. So this actually comes from their records. In 2013, they released 4,972 inmates. Out of those inmates, 694 of them was women. Out of those 694, 24% of them reoffended. Men. 4,278 men was released. 30%, 0.1 reoffended. When you take parolees, whether they're men or women, 3,028 were released. 33.7 reoffended. These numbers are unacceptable, and they're not stopping, they're rising. The rate that incarcerate and reincarcerate our ex-offenders are not acceptable. So what we want to do is we want to educate our ex-offenders here in North Las Vegas, because there's actually laws that were passed last session that actually help ex-offenders. Ex-offenders, whether they're discharged honorably or dishonorably, once you discharge, you get your right to vote again. That's actually stance different, because previously you had to be honorably discharged to get your rights back. But ex-felons don't know that. There's other laws that were passed. So what we want to do is we want to start educating them, and we're going to ask the mayor and the rest of the city council to join us in our crusade to end the rise in the recidivism rate here in North Las Vegas. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been ball bearers up in Ban the Box and worked with that organization that John runs, and we see the significance of that. Thank you very much. I think no one else wants to address the council tonight. Is that correct? This meeting is adjourned.